Good evening, good evening, good evening, kings and queens of the land. Good evening, good evening to the royals. Good evening to the liberated zone in Burkina Faso under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traore. Good evening to the liberated zone in Mali under the leadership of President Assimi Goïta. Good evening to the liberated zone in Niger under the leadership of President Diane. Good evening. Good evening, KZN, the liberated zone in South Africa under the leadership of the MK party under the leadership of President Zuma. Good evening, KZN. Good evening. My name is Mngoni Mkhonto, and this is the Royal Opinion. Thank you for joining. Today, I want to talk about the epic interview of President Zuma. I was listening to an interview by, who was it? Times Live, an interview where they were asking President Zuma. First, let me mention that President Zuma, during his term, President Zuma became the first president in the world to manage to spend a trillion, 1 trillion in infrastructure development in his first term. President Zuma has built a university, 3 universities. He's built more than 700 public schools, like high schools and primary schools, eliminating mud schools, construction of highways, construction of bridges, the Midope projects, construction of power stations, the infrastructure development project that President Zuma took over during the so-called 9 wasted years. Even today, it's unparalleled. Nobody can match it. I want to share. Let me just share. Let me just share this interview. Not necessarily, it's not an interview.
Should come with the EFF. There is 6% available. We give it to you without no condition to amend the constitution and take the land. If you don't agree with us today, it means you are disagreeing with Honorable Ayanda Dlodlo. If we don't agree with us today, it means you don't agree with your outgoing president on the issue of expropriation of land without compensation.
How did South Africa's president, who delivered record-breaking infrastructure development, fall from grace so dramatically? And now, with Jacob Zuma forming the MK party, is his call to unite black political movements a genuine quest for justice or a bid to rewrite his legacy? Welcome back to Inkari It's Time. I'm your host, Gondos. And thought-provoking question: is Jacob Zuma genuinely committed to fighting for the marginalized masses? Or is his newly formed Mkhonto weSizwe party a way to regain power and rewrite history? We'll explore the achievements that Blade Nzimande once celebrated, the missed opportunities for land reform during Zuma's presidency and the broader implications of his current political strategy. Let's separate fact from fiction and expose the truth behind the narratives. Stay with me. Zuma's achievements, a record worth celebrating. During his presidency, Jacob Zuma achieved significant milestones, spending over 1 trillion on infrastructure and building new universities such as Sol Plaatje University, University of Mpumalanga, and Sefako Makgatho Health Sciences University, the first of their kind in the democratic era. Infrastructure investments included projects like Medupi and Kusile power stations and expansion in road, rail.
I'm not sure what is happening there, but what I wanted to share, I wanted to share the fact that Julius Malema first was aware, Julius Malema was aware that President Zuma wanted the expropriation of land without compensation. Julius Malema was well aware. Many people says
Why is the media so negative around Zuma?
But to then put a challenge, as I call the president, to say that we need to hear your voice more. You know, we live in a strange society. President Zuma's achievements are enormous in terms of what has been done during his presidency. No government ever has spent R1 trillion within one term on infrastructure.
The quality of sound, I don't know what is happening there about the quality of the sound, but basically saying, President, there's no government in the whole world that has ever spent R1 trillion in one term on infrastructure development. Blade Zimanzi saying we live in a very strange world. I would rather say as well that we live in a very strange world. Blade Zimanzi, who is well aware of President Zuma's achievement, very strange that today he does not agree with the very same person that he said he actually achieved an epic achievement. But let me share another, just about President Zuma. Just let me share another.
Jacob Zuma has always been unbelievably kind and nice to me.
Interesting.
And that's just the bottom line. I'm never going to say otherwise because it wouldn't be true.
Sure.
In fact, he was nicer to me than almost everybody in my own party was.
Wow.
Yeah, he was. He was so kind to me. I mean, before I went to my very first big overall cabinet Lekgotla, where I was the only DA person there in 2009, he phoned me up the night before. Now, you must remember I had just run an entire campaign saying, stop Zuma. Entire campaign.
I'm not sure. Guys, I'm not sure if you are able, if you able to hear me clear, or you're able to hear the videos that I'm sharing. I hear some sound background. I don't understand what is.
Phoned me up the night before. He says, hello, Premier. I said, hello, President. He says, you're coming up for your first Lekgotla tomorrow. I said, yes. He said to me, you will be the only DA person there, and all the rest of us will be ANC. But I want you to know you'll be very warmly welcomed.
Wow.
I think I'm struggling there with sound when I'm sharing this video. I don't know if you can comment. Just tell me if you can hear the sound clear or you can't hear the sound clear. but I wanted to share the sound. I wanted to share where Helen Zille is talking about why she actually think President Zuma is very kind. He's the most kind person. So I wanted to share that interview. Uh, I'm struggling to share because I actually prepared. I don't understand what is happening when I'm sharing this.
Definitely.
In a public platform to say there were these meetings that took place,
which he was part of.
Something is wrong there. I'm not sure. Something is wrong. Something is not going right there. Okay, guys. I think I should let me go off. I think I'll. The sound is good. Oh, thank you. Okay, let me continue and play. I just don't understand why on my side it sounds so bad. Okay, let me continue to share the interview if the sound is good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I nearly actually went out, Mr. SB Mpanza. Thank you very much. If the sound is good, let me continue to share the interview. I'm not so sure. On my side, I can't really hear because the sound is too bad. But let me go on and share this interview and talk about it. Let me hear if it's gonna.
yes,
Which he agreed as well.
presentations were made.
Which he agrees as well.
Yes.
So why should you think now we cannot discuss including him and agree? We can. When you should be saying, hey, guys, please continue. We want to be free blacks, you know? That's the question we should ask. I'm telling you.
But I want to talk about your relationship with him. The EFF led a campaign that eventually led to your removal from power. They kept on pressing, pay back the money and all those things. Have you and him sat down and spoken and out those issues?
No. We are asking as if we don't know each other. We've met.
Yeah.
I was leading the ANC when he was what was it? The first organization of young people.
The youth league.
No.
Oh, COSAS.
COSAS. Ngifuna uyitholele wena. We were with him. We worked with him. They were in the youth league. I was the president of the ANC. We worked very well. It's not that we are meeting today. We were together in that organization that I told you about that was established by our ancestors, believing in it fully. In politics, at times things happen in many ways. He left ANC. Now, once he leaves the ANC, he has to take a position of a leader and an opposition to an organization that he has be a leader of the young people. I've known him. We've sat. We've eaten meat together. We did everything. I'd given instructions to him. So there is nothing new here. As to say, why now can you meet him? I meet him when I want to meet, he does, because we are not fighting.
Yeah.
In politics, people give their views. I've exchanged views with him in terms of the new organization that he established, but we're never enemies.
Yes.
We meet and talk, very good, there's nothing.
So there's no malice from the MK?
No necessary to be done in this country. Yes. The organization that I joined at my very young age, that I worked for many, many years, that I even went to prison for, very young age, that I worked for many.
Let me first explain. These interviews normally, because they are carried out with the propaganda media houses, the reason they give this interview it's because of intelligence information. The intelligence organizations want to find out what is the thinking of, or what is the plan of the MK party, or what is the plan of President Zuma from now going onwards. So the intelligence organizations are the ones who are in the earpiece of the journalists, are the ones who are actually really asking the questions. When most of the time, some in the previous time, these interviews were not even played on the station, so where they held the interview. The previous time, even up to date, we don't have a full interview of the SABC before the election, because these interviews are not conducted for the sake of the public. These interviews are conducted to detect intelligence information, or to derive intelligence information from President Zuma. This is the white system questioning President Zuma. They want to know his thinking and his plans. So when you listen to this interview, you need to put that in heart, and understand that these people, the way they work, the reason they prepare this, it's not because the reason they give President Zuma an opportunity to actually talk to them. It's not because they want him to clarify the position of MK party in the public. They just want intelligence information from President Zuma. They want to know what is the thinking of the MK party, and they want to know what can they do, because they want to derive information that can cause, or they want him to answer wrong ways questions that they are asking, which can cause at the end even violence. So violence among black people. Because our sound is now okay, I just want to continue sharing the interview as we talk about it.
Many, many years, that I even went to prison for, and spent 10 years, 6 months. I also went to exile and stayed there for 14 and a half years, fighting for the liberation of our people. For me, it was not acceptable that a party that I joined, and which was a particular party in a particular.
Most of the time people take it for granted. Many people take it for granted. We just take it that President Zuma has been fired from the ANC, and that's it. We forget that President Zuma has spent all his life, he spent all his youthful life in the ANC, building the ANC. He spent 10 years, 6 months in prison, fighting for a just cause against white people, for the just cause for black people. President Zuma was fighting. So people just take it that if they say, President Zuma, you are fired. I mean, we take it simple like that. But for him, it's a painful thing, because it's actually he spent all his life fighting in the ANC. I mean, it's difficult for him to 60 years in one organization. You can know if you've got just 10 years in a relationship, it's difficult to even move out of that relationship. So he's got 60 years of his life that he gave to the ANC. He joined the ANC when he was 17 and went to prison. And President Zuma, let me continue and play this interview as well.
Time and doing an important thing to liberate black people who had been oppressed for so many years, I couldn't take it that such a party could be made to look like the party that never fought for freedom. It was now almost equivalent to people saying, let us kill this party now. And whilst I was still alive, I could not allow it because my belief in freedom and participating in freedom was not just something like a hobby that I'm just doing it for the sake of it. It was a serious matter for people who have been oppressed, who have been killed, who have been arrested, who have been given every other thing. It did not make sense that an organization of that nature was now the ones that was doing the opposite of what it was supposed to do, to liberate people, complete freedom. And therefore, if I said I don't worry about it, I would have been joking over the years, going to prison, going to exile. Why I would stand and say, sorry, they're just doing it, shame. Mine was that I need to talk to the people of this country, to say, let us not allow our party to be utilized against us, and just we sit, we look, we just talk, small little talk, because what, in my view, since freedom, there has been just small talk about our freedom. Because everybody was seeing that we're not yet free. So why I would say I was born and I fought, but I said, no, now I can no longer fight. When people I called comrades were now turning into something else.
Yes.
And it was my duty. And it will be my duty until I die.
What is that perfect example?
President Zuma saying it is his duty to deliver black people from slavery and from colonialism and from apartheid. President Zuma has no ambition to become a president. President Zuma has achieved all what needs to be achieved. He has he has occupied the highest office in the land. He is not a hungry man. He does not need money as such, President Zuma, to survive because he's from a village. But he is saying, this is my life. It is my duty to liberate black people, and this is what I'm giving to black people. It will be my duty until I die. The rest of my life, I'm going to be fighting for the struggle of black people if they are not liberated. Meaning, President Zuma is giving up his life to the struggle to liberate the black people in South Africa. This is not a small issue. This is a very, very serious issue, which President Zuma, in this interview, coming out clear that he has given himself and he has given his life to fight on behalf of black people.
Example of them turning to something else that you witnessed and thought, let me go and start my own party?
No, firstly, ANC became a corrupt organization, not the whole organization, particularly those who were in key positions. They did not talk about how do we proceed to conclude our struggle to be a fully fleshed kind of organization and the country. I'm sure there are many, many things we can talk about. For an example, for an organization to sell the companies of the country without talking to us whether this should be sold or not. And it was quite a lot of things that happened. In a sense, the black people were still suffering.
Yes.
If I talk about the government companies, I'm talking about companies that are supposed to be utilized to take starvation, poorness, everything we can think of, so that we can say, we could also say, we are moving towards taking over or becoming part of the economy of the country. Instead, this government was selling the economy to white people in the main and making us starve forever.
Yes.
I think that says it
Yes.
to some degree, what were the problems.
Yes. When you announced that you were going to vote for MK and that you're going to lead MK, you also said that you are doing this to fix the ANC. Now, my question is the MK a temporary arrangement, or it's going to be a permanent feature in our politics?
MK is a permanent feature. MK is the party of South Africans who think alike, who saw the necessity for us to do what we did.
Yes.
So there isn't a difficulty in what I said, that we are doing this in order to rescue the ANC, and those were my words at the beginning, to rescue the ANC. In other words, to rescue the ANC, which was being abused, turned into something we don't know. I did not say I disagree with the policies of the ANC. I took a vow to die for them. But the leaders at this time were no longer doing that.
Yeah.
We're doing everything as favors of white people, business people, you can call it in many ways. So if I had said, I'm leaving the ANC, I think I would be not telling the truth about the organization I have taken a decision to die for. And I could not just emerge and say, I'm starting this organization out of nowhere and say nothing about what are the reasons.
Yes.
The reasons were that this organization was being killed by some people. And I was not saying the policies of the ANC were wrong, no. In other words, I was saying those who are supposed to implement the policies were no longer implementing those policies. And that's why I use the word, our establishing this organization is to take over the country and therefore rescue the policies of the ANC so that we are able to deal with what we had put as the policies that we were ready to die for, to liberate our people. And that was the way.
No,
And that's why I was, I
President Zuma says he wants to rescue the ANC. I've always discussed how President Zuma is going to rescue the ANC. More people don't know the plan that President Zuma has is very clear. President Zuma is saying he's fighting to remain a member of the ANC because he wants to also rescue the ANC, which is the organization of his ancestors. He cannot give up the legacy of his ancestors because some other people have come over to take over the control of the legacy of black people, which is the ANC. According to President Zuma, it's his duty to rescue the ANC. He's got a plan. They fired him or they've removed him from the ANC. But President Zuma is sitting there waiting for the conference of the ANC because that's where he's going to raise the issue. I suspect that he's going to raise the issue from the floor. At the moment, he's talking to branches, he's on the ground talking to branches of the ANC in KZN. And also talking to regions and the province itself about this expulsion from the ANC. So if these people go and raise the issue in the ANC conference, and the ANC conference decide to reinstate President Zuma as a member of the ANC. President Zuma will contest the ANC presidency in 2027 and is going to take over the ANC. That's how President Zuma is going to rescue the country, the black people, and the policies of the ANC. He says he does not want the legacy of the ANC to be celebrated by those who were bought by white people.
said to rescue the ANC. In other words, to rescue our people from being sold out by people who took a vow to defend them, to free them.
Now that you have this new vehicle, the permanent features going to rescue our people, why do you appeal your expulsion from the ANC if you've got a new vehicle that is going to rescue South Africans from the ANC?
Why? It is just precisely what we are saying. The ANC is failed. We are putting a new kind of power that is going to free our people. And therefore, we rescue our people from poverty, from every other thing you can think of.
I'm asking about you appealing your expulsion. Why is it important to remain a member of the ANC when you have
Oh, I now hear you. I hear your question. What's the end goal? Is to rescue the people of this country.
No, I'm talking about the membership. Keeping the membership. Why is it so important?
It's part of me saying, in other words, if I want to tell you, the African National Congress was established by the ancestors, all Africans, leaders in this country, to rescue and liberate our people. That's a very serious matter. Yes. Now, if you have that, you have now people who are leading this organization, changing the way from this organization was established for. Now, working with the whites, being told by the whites what to do, being told not to, don't worry about operation, oppression. Don't worry. It is nice when the whites are having the land, when they're having all the businesses, when they are staying in cities, when we stay in the bushes, when we've got no roads in our places. There's no any place where there are whites, there's no tarred roads. With us, there's nothing. We took a decision, very clear. And if our people are not moving with that one in order to make a clear point that we are now free, we are no longer living in the what are these little houses you have in the townships?
RTP houses.
Not LP, not that one, not that one. And I'm talking about
Shacks.
shacks, that's a point. Why should I say I should die seeing these people living in shacks? The shacks have been more or expanding in many places. Instead of being put away, proper houses being brought. Now, if I said, I'm leaving the ANC now, everything, right? If I said so, I would be saying what about the policies, the views, not necessarily the views, but the decision that was taken by the black leaders to liberate ourselves. If I say now, I'm forming, I know people form parties generally, but there isn't a debate about the issues that made us to start fighting. Even when we are many parties, we are all oppressed, we want to be free. We say, no, I leave you, I go there, I form my party. Others don't say much about it. You just have a number of parties. In other words, I would be saying the ancestors were wrong.
Yes.
I'm now abandoning what the ancestors asked us to do. Because this is their organization, it's not the organization of people who are ruling it now. That's why I will remain on the views and the policies that are there to liberate our people. But I did not want to confuse people as if there is something else, because it's the same thing that our ancestors put across. And I would stand there. And in other words, I was saying, once we take over, we're going to remove the people who are running that organization of our ancestors this time around and take it back to us.
How do you
To
remove
where?
them when you are in the MK and they are in the ANC?
No. We are not going to be equal in the MK. We are taking the country as an MK. I would take the country, running the country.
Well, you remove them from government, not from the ANC.
Of course, if they want to be the ANC of theirs, which was not the one I know, it's a different matter. For me, the issue was that we must rescue, in other words, the organization of our ancestors that is being put aside by people who are leading it, now. That will be our team, and it stands, by the way. It stands. We become the majority, right?
Yeah, my follow-up is going to be, when is that going to happen?
Mana, lalela. Once we take over the country, we're in charge, right?
Yes.
One of the things we'll do will be to honor our ancestors by putting back the ideas they put and policies they put. We'll take over from the ones who are selling out, right? Now, if you were doing so, sitting away, the tiny ANC, but this is our ANC, and I would have no way to answer or to argue that this is my ANC, I now need to take everything. Ngizwa kahle ba?
Take back.
Mana lalela ungabuzi. Ngisachaza. If I was not the member of that organization, it would be very difficult. But they say, what do you want from our organization? And that would be the end of the debate. I want to remain there as a member, but I will never vote for them. I'm remaining there deliberately so that I have an opportunity to take over that organization, even if it is not the name.
President Zuma is the supreme leader of black people. President Zuma's strategies, President Zuma's education first is supreme to the Western education. Uh, President Zuma has been, because of his level of education and intelligence, he's been able to get in and out of South Africa during the apartheid time when the apartheid police wanted him. President Zuma remains a struggle hero to date. He remains a fighter. At his age, he's 82 years old, is still fighting for black people. He deserves the title of the supreme leader of black people because he's going to liberate black people from slavery, poverty, from apartheid, from colonialism, from the British rule. That is his plan. He says the reason he is not moving out of the ANC, the reason he is remaining there, it's because he will have the opportunity to take over the organization when he's still a member. And it's very reasonable. He's going to contest as the ANC president. He's going to contest, I suppose, Paul Mashatile is going to contest to become president of the ANC. He's not even going to be contested, I suppose. Maybe Paul Mashatile will become his deputy president because President Zuma, the ANC will not be able. President Ramaphosa, with all due respect, is too dry. He's not going to be able to remove President Zuma from the ANC. President Zuma will come back to the ANC and is going to take over. And when he takes over the ANC, having already taken over the leadership of the EFF, is going to continue to take over all the black people. He says, "I'm no more begging anyone. I just want to liberate black people before I die." That's what he wants to do. He's a man in a mission. President Zuma wants to liberate black people before he dies. So now he's not begging anyone. He's going to take the ANC by force. He has called the political parties, black political parties, to unite. He's been making this call since he was young. And since he was still the president of South Africa, he was making the call. He requested the ANC to vote with the EFF for expropriation of land without compensation. That's what President Zuma did, and that's what he was calling for. So even today, he still called for the same thing. So President Zuma has never sold out black people. He is the supreme leader of black people. My name is Mngoni Mkhonto, and this is the Royal Opinion. Thank you very much for joining. Click the like button and subscribe if you are coming here for the first time. Thank you very much for my regulars, Mr. Nkosana Fulani, Mr. Victor Shongwe. Thank you very much for joining there. Today we're talking about, if you are new, we're talking about the most powerful interview that President Zuma has given to the CIA or the intelligence organization, because when they use this media station, they don't necessarily want to release the interview. Sometimes they don't even release the interview. It's for intelligence. They want to get his thinking so that they can plan around what to do about the MK part.
Because if I'm a member, they're not going to say, why are you coming to argue here? Because I'm going to say, you actually deviated from what our ancestors said. Mine is to take you out so that we take because our views now and the views of the ancestors are the same. But the views of the ANC and the ancestors is not the same. I was not saying I must have this party because I love the party. Mine was to maintain the same thinking of liberating our people. I will fight it better when I am in the ANC because I will be a member. I will be arguing what I argued from my childhood. And I did not want to allow them to take it and take our party. That's why I use the word, is to rescue the ANC. So the point I'm making, my brother, is that my saying I belong there does not necessarily say I support it. But it also says, it's like if I make some simple thing, if I had a revolver and I'm fighting, I now take a bazooka, and I'm not losing my gun.
You can use it at a later stage.
Huh?
You can use it at a later stage.
I'm saying so, no, ngizoyithatha kubona, not ukuthi ngiyancenga.
Yeah.
I was making them to say I disagree with their practice, with the manner in which they are implementing the policies. I disagree with them. And I can't continue with them when they're doing wrong things. I told them. Right? So I take another gun to use it to defeat the enemy. And if need be, to defeat them with. Because I'm not disagreeing with our ancestors. I agree with our ancestors 100%.
He's saying this gun that I wanted to use in the name of the ANC, which is a revolver, which has been locked away by the sellout. He takes another gun, which is a revolver, which is an AK-47, to defeat white people, while knowing that he's got another gun there sitting for him to take over. So he's using another gun, which is the MK party now. He's using another organization. President Zuma is using another organization to rescue black people because the ANC, the moment, has been kidnapped, hijacked, whatever way that you can use. Some of the words you are not allowed to use on YouTube. You can add the ANC. There's no bad word that you can't say about the ANC. It has been done all these wrong things.
They are moving away from it. And I must defend it. So it's not like I would leave them everything, the ANC, everything. You mean when we are running the country, as Mkondo Sizwe, when we remember our heroes, when we remember everybody, not the oldest, even the ones up to Mandela time, must now we give it to the sellouts and see it, they are now going to be the ones who celebrate Mandela, no Bani. Why should we allow that? Why? But they belong to us.
Maybe
It is as simple as that, my brother. My reason, and my own comrades were saying, but what Zuma is doing. No, I was not doing like the PAC moving away from the ANC, blah, 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 no. This is a different matter. We all belong to the ANC. We might be now in separate places, but the fact is, our ancestors pointed the way out. I don't think it is correct for us to look down upon them because we now have whites to be together with, to sit together, as it is now, something called something, wherein black parties are with whites. That was not what the Mandelas or whoever else was in the leader of the ANC was expecting that to happen. I thought you guys by this time would have realized how correct we are when we say we're rescuing, not just rescuing Ramaphosa, no, rescuing the ANC. They didn't form the ANC. And we needed to do so to take power and to utilize power to take back what belongs to us.
A year on, what do you want the MK to be known for fighting for? Why should, when people vote for MK, what is it that you want them to say, I'm voting for MK because of X, Y, and Z?
I'm sure you can ask any person on the streets, even those who may not be the MK, they will tell you it's a simple answer. They want their freedom. They want freedom in this country.
Yes.
They want to have the wealth of this country. They want to be free. They want to be equal. They want everything that is talked about, not just things that are said when they don't mean what we say. Like as we say, what to say? They say we are a democratic country, but we are not. We may be a democratic country, small portion, but other portions, there's no democracy. There's no democracy because if everything was fine, it would be done fairly nicely. I'm not me, and I've never understood. We count the votes here, and Mase Baluela says Balwangalia Seko, democracy. Democracy must be open, not so. We have a case now because we caught them. We caught them taking our votes. That tells you, if you're a South African, particularly black, is something you need to accept at any time. You can't argue on the side of the whites. We won, but we are not in power. That's not democracy.
But isn't that how votes have been counted? Even when you became president, that's how votes were counted.
It was not democracy. I always said it even at that time. Not democracy.
Because it has always been done like this, then it has to be democracy. That is the thinking that they want to convey to people. I mean, the democracy means majority. That's what they say when on an ordinary day means majority rule. That's what they say in an ordinary day. But the democracy that we see here in South Africa, the majority does not rule. It's the minority that rules through the courts. The majority, what the CIC call majoritarian, normally when he wants to run away from the decision of the majority, they call it majoritarian. But majority rule is democracy. If they say the majority rule is democracy, but if you take the majority to court, and win over the majority, then the majority does not rule anymore. What rules is the people who won over the majority, the decision of the majority. So President Zuma, who is the supreme leader of black people, who is going to liberate black people, says he wants the voting system to change. He wants transparency in the voting system. I also argue that in actual fact, the voting system has to be overhauled in a way. We need to implement responsible voting. The way we are voting is not, it's totally irresponsible, because everybody else can vote for everything else. I mean, if you allow a Nyaupe person to vote for a president, how do you what kind of president do you expect him to vote? If you allow somebody who is not in good condition in the mind, if you allow everybody to vote for everything, uh, then you're not going to achieve what you want, because at the end of the day, voting should be for if we are talking about issues under health department, the voting should be done by the people who knows the industry, who are in health industry, so that they vote for the right things. The thing that people vote for things that they don't even know how they operate, they don't even know. I mean, you are allowed to vote for a president. You don't even know what is the work of the president. How will you vote for the right president if you don't even know what he is expected to do? So voting on itself, it's something that needs to be really looked at, and how the people should be voting. I think people should be voting in blocks, not issue of voting for everything. Everybody vote for everything. If we talk about engineering issues, engineers should go and vote about engineering issues, not somebody who does not know anything about engineering finding themselves voting. So, but President Zuma calling for the voting system to be overhauled in favor of a transparent method, because at the moment you vote and you sit and count there, but they will take the votes and take them somewhere else where you are no more there to check what they are doing, and they will count and count, give you a different results from what you had before. So President Zuma calling for that to be changed.
So
I've said so. I knew it.
even your election, you are questioning it.
I've questioned it all the time.
Okay.
Because if at all we were free and transparent or whatever, they would be counted here. I've made something, just for information, to make you understand my point, that once we are in charge, we are going to change the voting system. We are. My thinking at the moment, we might have better ones, and my comrades might have even a bit more better, that when the party is voting, there must be a big drum for MK. MK members must put their things there. If you are in Qatar, I'm not saying you are, we must have your drum there, where in Qatar will vote there. And those things must be counted from there to the basket that is counted on. Nabanye. And then later you take as a to keep a smile. Why can't we do so if we are indeed democratic? Why you must now go that side, put it there? Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I'm saying people that we are looking for, they must understand this, they must vote for the truth.
Yes.
And they must vote for the interest of a black person. I don't understand this business of white and black coming together, brothers, fathers, sisters, because they are free. We are not free.
You mean
the notion that we are the rainbow nation, we need to come together with black and white, whatever color, creed, whatever yellow. That is what President Zuma is saying. He's not buying into that notion because white people are free and black people are not free. How can you say we are together when the other people are making the other people suffer? Good evening, all of you, leadership of MK Party. I need membership card, please, leadership. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your request there. We will talk about the membership maybe at the end of the interview. So President Zuma very clear that he does not subscribe to the issue of us claiming that we are a rainbow nation and we are united with white people. Why, while white people are enjoying in our land, they are stealing our resources. They are enjoying our food, our land. They are enjoying the produce of our land while we are in suffering, and then we say we are united with white people. President Zuma does not buy into that notion.
White people in this country are free and we are not free.
It is said we are free, but we are not free. We black people.
No, I didn't want to misinterpret what you were saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why I'm saying, why do you come from a village or come from a city?
I come from a village in Underbeck.
In Underbeck, thanks God. How many tarred roads do you have there that go to your house, to everybody else, as a black person? Have you ever, a white person going to a place, even if it is in the Mbundus, without a tarred road? Don't you see that even if it is said we are free, we are actually not free? I'm sure we get used to it. We think it's a way of life.
Let's just look around. The reality shows us it is true. If you go to even if you go in town, the way the apartheid system arranged how people should be settled, there's Indians in particular suburb, there's white in particular suburbs, then there's blacks in particular areas. So the apartheid structure, the way it has been maintained as it was. Nothing has changed in South Africa. Those who were suffering are the ones who are suffering even today. Nothing has changed. So black people are still not free in South Africa or anywhere in the world. Only the French zone, which has liberated the Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, have liberated themselves from their colonial masters. From the British Empire, not even a single country has broken away. The British Empire has been able to maintain their colonies, including South Africa. KZN is the only zone in which the British Empire at the moment is suffering losses in the name of the MK Party and President Zuma. Very confused. They don't know what to do.
Even our own people who are in government, local government, they sit there, discuss what do you call it, the budget and everything. They never talk anything about their roads where they stay. They talk about the road where the whites stay. That's a fact. Is it not true? That
was the... Because I want us to come back to MK Party and how you look at it going forward. What is your target? There's the local campaign elections coming in 2026. What do you want to achieve there, and what do you want to achieve in the next general elections?
Let me start at the beginning.
Yes.
Our objective is to liberate black people.
Yes.
Right? And Umkhonto, Wesizwe Party, is here to execute that.
Yes.
Right? In other words, we took a decision to establish this party in order to liberate black people who are not yet liberated. That is what we are looking for. And we are not shy to say we want the majority of the black people who are oppressed to vote with us. That's what we are looking for. And we are going to be talking more and more about the truth of our small liberation, as I told, and tell people that there is a bigger liberation that we say we must all have. And we are not saying this because we just love it. We can't suffer in our own country and think we are free and think it is nice. It is not. And this is what we're going to tell people. Tell yourselves. You guys, in fact, ought not to be ordering. I mean, we don't have to be asking what is going to happen. You should actually be happy that we are going to liberate a black man, all of us. Even those who did not realize, they would see it. So our issue is to call South Africans in their numbers to vote for our freedom.
So here they actually wanted to hear the targets. These journalists. I repeat, the journalists come from the intelligence organizations. He may not be aware, but the people in his earpiece are people who are running intelligence organizations like the CIA, who wants to know exactly what is the plan of President Zuma and the MK party for the 2026 election. They want to know exactly what is the target he is setting for the MK party, which municipalities is he targeting to take over. That those are the information that the intelligence organizations are looking for from President Zuma. President Zuma, well aware, is answering these questions, well aware where they come from, and well aware of the fact that he wants his purpose to answer this interview is to give clarity to the public. Though the people who are interviewing him have got a different purpose, he is aware of their different purpose, and he is aware of his obligation to give the truth as it is to black people. Let's listen to President Zuma in this epic interview. He is the supreme leader of black people. He is going to liberate black people from the British Empire and from the supreme arrogancy, murderous and dangerous British Empire.
That's our opposition. That's our objective. We are clear that as we move now to local government elections, we are going to be calling upon the members and supporters, and even those who don't see, we are going to make them see the truth. So that when we come to the final elections, we take the country. We liberate our people. We're going to liberate even those who don't know they're being liberated. We're going to help them. They will realize afterwards they are now liberated.
Do you have targets of the local government elections? How are you going to liberate them?
How I'm going to liberate them?
Do you have targets?
No, I'm saying they are going to be voting for us. We are going to be teaching them that they must vote with us.
Yeah.
That's a correct way to do.
In his earpiece, they are asking him insist on they're telling him to insist on the targets. Obviously, he has to get President Zuma to say what is his target on the municipality so that they can prepare themselves, because they don't know what is planning to do, which municipalities is planning to take over, where is he planning to concentrate. They want that information. They want to know.
We are even going to talk to some parties that are black but white. Just tell them the truth. And I'm convinced that these coming elections, the people of this country have understood that we are not really free. We must be free. And we are going to lead them into freedom. Once freedom is there, we are going to take our own things as the people of this country to make our people happy and be free.
You speak about freeing black people, and you always talk about black unity. There was an arrangement in Parliament of the Progressive Caucus of political parties that believe that they are on the left. And how do you achieve that when there are parties who are then who then lose membership from MK? Don't you think that kills those other parties that you want to work with when the MK is recruiting from those parties? For example, the EFF. The MK has taken very senior leaders of the EFF. Don't you think that
This is a question. This is a question which is based from the fact that the leader of the EFF is angry that there are other members who've left the EFF to join the MK party. But this is basically something like it's shocking why the CIC Julius Malema would declare war against the MK party because other people have moved from EFF to the MK party. I mean, the president himself was the member, CIC himself was the member of the ANC. He left the ANC to join the EFF. He did not. Nobody was angry against him. Nobody was angry against him for starting the EFF. And nobody was angry against him when he took other members. He almost took the whole youth league of the ANC with him. The ANC Youth League have struggled after the CIC left the ANC Youth League. So he almost took the whole ANC Youth League with him to the EFF. Nobody have complained and nobody have declared him the enemy from the ANC. President Zuma continued to want to work with him. So the question is, are you not killing the other organizations when other members from the other organizations are moving from their political organization to the MK party? But the MK party is supreme in its policies. In its nature is an ocean. It accommodates everybody. So Africa is Neti Stoll says Africa is a continent so leaderless, either proper visionary, our ideological means is always an improper long term, probably not to achieve. Historically, they are coming from the liberation movement. I hope I did justice reading that. I hope I did justice, Neti. Thank you very much for your communication there. Anyone is allowed to comment. You can send your comment. Click the like button and subscribe if you're coming for the first time. in the royal opinion. The people who normally comes here, we call them the royals, because this is a kingdom, a very powerful kingdom, where we talk about politics of black people and the liberation of black people. Today we're talking about the epic interview of the supreme leader of black people in South Africa, President Jacob Zuma. Let's continue with his interview.
That kills that objective of having that black unity?
No. Not at all. If you listen to me, my brother, we are saying the black people must be together, right? And they can't be together by being not together.
So
Ngizwa kahle baba.
everyone must
Ngizwa kahle. Ngizwa kahle. For the very fact that we are saying black people must come together, it means we are not together, right? That's a mistake. It's not a mistake because we are stupid, no. It's because whites have indoctrinated us in many ways. In fact, many of the parties, abanye uyabazi, abanye bebekade bekwi yini le party yabantu abamhlophe kuthiwa yini konje? Kuthiwa yini angikhumbuzi.
Abantu abamhlophe?
Kuthiwa ibizwa kuthiwa yini?
Angiyazi abantu abamhlophe.
Awuyazi?
Angazi
somebody. No, I'm being asked questions by somebody who doesn't stay in this country. Do you stay in this country?
I do, but I
You don't know white. You don't know white parties.
I don't know which party.
We are a journalist. You don't know white parties.
I don't know which party.
This is the confusion that the middle class find themselves in. This is the confusion of the middle class. This guy is saying he does not know white parties. I mean, if you are in South Africa, you should know the difference. There's a difference. There are white parties and there are black parties. You should know that the Democratic Alliance is at least a white party, and you should know that the Freedom Front Plus is a white party. Though you will not be able to count the black parties, but you should know that the ANC, the EFF, if you don't know the MK now, are black parties. That should be clear for anybody. So this is a middle class kind of confusion, pretending not to know which parties are actually belongs to black people or which parties belong to white people. And this journalist is actually a black person. This is what black people are facing. That's why the liberation of black people is difficult to achieve, because of this type of people who cause confusion among black people. Good evening, brother of the channel. I am very happy for you. Just talk to me what I must do in this channel, because want to make sure that you're happy for me. Please, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What you can do, you can give me a super thanks. Oh no, okay. The super thanks are closed. The YouTube channel have closed my, but I've appealed it. They've closed my monetization. I actually appealed it. Thank you very much, and thank you for what you are for loving us. Let's continue to play. We want to liberate black people. That is the purpose. The whole purpose is to make all black people be aware that there is an underhand in their suffering.
No, I'm asking.
I don't want to ask.
We are Kashamans. We are Kashamans. DA, we ask. You don't know DA.
Oh, you're referring to the DA.
What else is there before besides DA, a white, which is could call a party? What is it? Is there any other party?
No, I've seen they've got black members. So
That's why what I'm sure don't talk about black members. What party? DA is a white party. Would there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black people there? Doesn't mean it's a black party. How wangithusa manje ngizophendula imibuzo kanti uzobe ungakwazi ukuyichaza. No, because we don't dodge the discussion. I'm talking about white party. You know exactly what I mean. Black party, you know exactly. That's why you ask a question. Man says, why am I over and laba manje? Ngikuthemba kangaka mfana kithi.
He's really taken aback. President Zuma is really taken aback about this guy who does not want to be clear that he knows that there's black and white parties. And the reason is because he works for the white media. He's afraid that the man in his earpiece will be angry when he arrives there. Because they want black people to be confused, not to know that there are white parties. Because there are few black people who joined the Democratic Alliance, or there are few black people in the Freedom Front Plus, or there's few black people in the AfriForum. Then it means it's not a white organization. Uh, we really need to understand. So is the middle class, that's the problem of the middle class. CIC publicly declared the EFF was just used to fool black people into thinking that something is being done on their behalf, whereas is to prevent an uprising against suburb dwellers, including himself. I actually heard him on one interview where he said, if you don't make black people feel like they are represented, you don't have to make them to represent them. You just have to make them feel represented, so that there will be not an unled revolution. That's what he calls it, unled revolution. He has lied to his members. He said the EFF will occupy ABSA. The EFF has never occupied ABSA. He announced that the EFF will occupy ABSA. The EFF has never occupied ABSA. The EFF will never occupy ABSA. He has declared that the MK party is his biggest enemy. You can't, out of because some other people who were in the EFF joined the MK party, then you call it, you declare it the enemy of black people. It does not make sense. Nobody declared the EFF the enemy of black people but I love the intelligence of President Zuma. When he was asked about Julius Malema, he said, Julius Malema is my friend and I love him very much. He actually agrees with what we're doing. We want to liberate black people because that's what he says before the election, they actually stayed, they sat down and talk about it with Julius Malema, and Julius Malema agreed to all the proposal that President Zuma has on the table. President Zuma has proposed that black parties should unite and vote together in order to defeat the enemy. And when we take over the land, then we can separate and vote however we can vote. But first, let's unite and defeat white people. That was his proposal. And this proposal he has made a long time ago. Some says, why is he now calling for black unity when he's 82 years? Why didn't he unite people when he was while he was president? Those are people who are stuck on the intellectual level. President Zuma is on the implementation level. When I say in the intellectual level, I mean people who wants to argue for the sake of arguing, people who've got facts in their arguments, but their facts does not take you anywhere. They bring facts in their arguments and argue about something, but their arguments, when you follow their arguments, it will not take you anywhere. President Zuma is calling for black unity now when he's 82. Does it matter that he did not call for black unity when he was 1 year old? Does it matter that he did not call for a black unity when he was 15 years old? Do we have to get stuck on that fact that President Zuma did not call for black unity when he was, even if he did not call for black unity when he was the president of South Africa, and of which President Zuma did call for black unity when he was the president of South Africa. He has been calling for black unity. Even today, he's calling for black unity. It is the policy of the MK party to be never aggressive to anybody, to be non-violent. It is the policy, non-violence is a policy of the MK party. Non-violence in the physical way of it, non-violence in the language. President Zuma says, even people, when they provoke you, you are not allowed to reply with insults, even when they insult you, including members of the opposition or including those whom we call our enemies. When they insult us, we respond to them with love. That is the instruction that President Zuma has given to the members of the MK party. He says anyone who is not going to respond with love to the people who are insulting us is going to be fired from the MK party. That's what President Zuma says.
No, because ngizokhuluma la ngithi ngiyakhuluma kanti ngikhuluma nje nomuntu nje akazazi noma umnyama noma mhlophe mnyama siyazwana ke makunjalo. Because the point I'm making to you is that us, we are oppressed. Whites have done everything to make a few of us think they are better or whatever, of everything. In the process of our struggle, we started as one organization. In the process of struggle, many other political parties have come, right? What does that do? It actually helps whites to always think they've got some majority because they are displacing us, right? We have come to a point, it was a very conscious decision that we blacks must come together so that we've got our votes that fit us to take over the running of this country. In other words, it is us, black, and we are by and large agreed. By and large agreed. And if that is agreed, it means there must be a process of blacks joining other blacks who accept this understanding that for us to liberate ourselves, we need to be together. And people are not going to see that at the same time. Some will see it first, those who think properly. Some would not. Some will understand, but they will be given money by whites, and they will remain there. And because we have said so, that black people come together to liberate ourselves, is what we need to do. And if I was in any organization, I see the truth, the correctness of what I'm doing. I can't be said, what are you doing now? Because we are saying we should not grow, we black people. We should always remain, we black. But we must establish a political organization that must lead this country. And for comrades to move from other places, it is because they now say, agreed, because we have disagreed, we've been talking rather, to say for us to liberate ourselves, let us come together. And you can't have everybody all one day. It will be something like a miracle. Other comrades come. No one is taking somebody from somebody else. All this time before Gubakona Umkondo Wesizwe, people were leaving organization and joining Nangapa. The very fact the organization you're talking about moved in the majority of it from this organization, I'm talking about the ANC, because already it had moved out of the way. Now, if we come, we say, guys, here we are, let us take over. I mean, people who don't do it, kusho ukuthi abanye abantu labamnyama bamnyama nje ngaphandle ngaphakathi banobuhloshanyana obuningi. Because this is our time. Our time is to liberate the black person.
Yes.
And there is no problem why somebody lives there, think these ones will help or this one will help.
Yes. There's been a talk of a proposal that was made to the leader of the EFF for the EFF to fold into MK and form this one big party. Are you in favor of such an arrangement?
Absolutely.
Have you spoken
If IF comes to us, ngiyogiya ngalolo langa ngibona ngiphethe isagila ngithi sithathe nabanye bonke sibeze la. That's what we are looking for now.
Have you spoken to a leader of the EFF about that?
Yes.
And what was his response?
No, that is not for public.
But
No, lalela ngikutshela. Why I'm saying so? When we were establishing Umkhonto Wesizwe, we met as black parties, including the one we are talking about,
yes.
and discussed and agreed. We are going to take over this past what you call. It's something that happened. Whether you like it or not, we are agreed. We actually agreed. The president we are talking about agreed to that. We're together. That this is what we do. So it's not because we are now saying, hey, let us come together, no. Because we realized that us having small little parties, amnyama, it actually depletes the majority of the black people. Because we vote there in different ways. It does not make us achieve what our ancestors said we must achieve. And that's why that discussion was discussed by many, many parties. One day you will know. I'm sure we'll tell you one day who were the people in that meeting.
No, and he has
agreed.
He has spoken about it in the public platform
to
say there were these meetings that took place,
which he was part of,
yes,
which he agreed as well, which he agrees as well. So why should you think now we cannot discuss including him and agree? We can. When you should be saying, hey, guys, please continue. We want to be free blacks, you know? That's the question you should ask. I'm telling you.
But I want you to talk about your relationship with him. The EFF led a campaign that eventually led to your removal from power. They kept on pressing, pay back the money and all. Have you and him sat down and spoken and out those issues?
No. We are asking as if we don't know each other. We've met.
Yeah.
I was leading the ANC when it was what was it? The first organization of young people.
The Youth League.
No.
Oh, COSAS.
COSAS. We were with him. We worked with him. They were in the Youth League. I was the president of the ANC. We worked very well. It's not that we are meeting today. We were together in that organization that I told you about that was established by our ancestors, believing in it fully. In politics, at times things happen in many ways. He left ANC. Now, once he leaves the ANC, he has to take a position of a leader and an opposition to an organization that he has been a leader of the young people. I've known him. We've sat. We've eaten meat together. We did everything. I'd given instructions to him. So there is nothing new here. As to say, why now can you meet him? I meet him when I want to meet, he does, because we are not fighting. In politics, people give their views. I've exchanged views with him in terms of the new organization that he established, but we're never enemies. We meet and talk, very good, there's nothing.
So there's no malice from the MK?
No malice. He left my organization, Listen, his card. It keeps on happening in life. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, my brother, Lensizo Kulumangayo is my friend, in fact.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. I love him. He's a kind man. He's a very kind man. And he's open. He talks his mind, whether you like it or not, talks his mind. Politicians are not the same. They don't say one and the same thing. There is nothing between me and him which is wrong. There are two parties that are different. And they must hold views and I'm not happy about what is happening. That's part of politics.
President Zuma, there being diplomatic, I've spoken about the leader of the EFF many times in my videos before. You can watch that on my previous videos where I specifically say President Julius Malema, the CIC, is a sellout. Many times I have spoken about him before the elections. I have called for people even before President Zuma started actually talking publicly about it. I've called for people to unite around the MK party to liberate, in order to liberate black people. So the CIC have sold out. He's declared the MK party as the enemy, and the reason for that it's because they want black people to fight against each other. They want the EFF members to get agitated against the MK members. That would result in a black and black violence in South Africa, while the white people are still keeping the land, and the white people will come as mediators between stupid black people who are fighting against each other. So the CIC is well aware of what is doing, but he's been instructed to do so because he sold out, he sold the struggle, he sold out a long time ago, uh, since he started the anti-Zuma campaign when he was still in the Youth League. He was being paid by the white system. It was being groomed by the white system to take over the ANC. Unfortunately, it was taken out of the ANC when President Zuma, when the ANC under President Zuma fired them from the ANC, removed them from the ANC where he started the EFF. So President Zuma being very diplomatic about when he talks about the CIC, because President Zuma wants unity. That's what he wants to achieve at the end of the day. So he's not going to talk too much about what is happening about the CIC, but we've heard him talking about Amamboga when he was talking in, was it in Gauteng? Yeah, when he was talking in Gauteng, He talked about Amamboga, people who've gone to the other side, um, from our side to the other side, to people who have sold out. President Zuma talking about Julius
In
Malema.
this process of uniting black people and the black parties, I haven't heard you mention the ANC. Have you decided that they won't form part of what we are trying to achieve? And to go with that question, what is your relationship with the president of the ANC?
No, Baba. The question of different parties coming together, we have never said all the black people except ANC, they won't come to us.
Yes.
We have never said so. We want black people to come together. That's what we are doing.
Yes.
And we'll influence them, we'll influence the ANC, we'll influence everybody. There's nothing wrong, because we are saying black men take charge of your countries.
Yes.
We can't say we take charge, but the ANC, no, they're not white. And that's why I was telling you, my brother, that we will take the ANC, rescue it.
Yes.
That must tell you, I've been saying it all the time, must tell you, we are not saying we cannot have the ANC. Why? They're not our enemy. Politically, they've missed a step, fine. We'll correct them. It's our duty to correct them.
In the relationship with the president?
In the relation,
Your relationship?
you know, I was once his deputy. He was once my deputy.
Yeah.
And we've never fought. No.
Do you talk?
He lived his life, I live my life.
Do you talk? How often do you talk?
And why should I be talking often to him? Abantu bengaka bokhuluma nabo. I'll be talking to instead of talking to my comrades. When we khulumela nabo comrade, now he's busy there. What's your problem?
But there were reports about your issues about your security, your cars. People saying the state, it seems like it's not taking good care of you. How do you feel? Do you think that the state does take care of you? Do they conduct maintenance?
No, if there are issues in that level, I talk to them.
Yeah.
This type of question, it's meant to for President Zuma to answer wrongly, so that they can take this as the news of the interview, that President Zuma is fighting because he wants to be taken care of by the state. President Zuma is not fighting for black people because he wants liberation of black people. They're asking this question so that they answer it wrongly, so that they can run a campaign that President Zuma is actually fighting against the system, or is fighting against Ramaphosa because Ramaphosa is not taking care of him. So President Zuma handling the question in a supreme way, like a supreme leader would do.
Talk to them, there's no doubt. Anyone, it's not only me. Yeah. Even other former presidents, at times they've got problems, they talk to them. They talk to them.
Do they conduct maintenance at your home?
Now, abuzi izinto ezincane nje wena manje.
No, because people are saying that they don't take care of you.
No, they don't.
President Zuma there, if you can't hear the English, the Zulu words, is complaining that why are you asking so petty questions? Now you are asking about my home, you are asking about me taking care. Have you ran out of questions? Is complaining to the journalist that why are you so petty? Why are you now becoming and your question finished? But the purpose of the question was to ensure that they run a propaganda material. They wanted propaganda material from this interview, and of which they failed decimal. I think the condition for President Zuma to go to this interview is for them to publish the interview. Most of the time, he goes to the interviews and the white media never published the interviews. We will only hear that President Zuma was interviewed by this organization or by this media house, but they will refuse to release the interview. So most of the time these days, I think this condition is, I don't want to waste my time. You must release the interview when you want me to give you the interview. So because these are intelligence organizations, they want the interview. They allow him to put that condition because he knows they want his interview. They want to know what are his plans. So he handled the journalist nicely there. President Zuma saying you are actually becoming too petty. I think you've run out of questions.
They don't take care of
They
it.
don't.
Oh, okay.
They stopped. They stopped. They just stopped. Even things they were building from government, they left other things unfinished.
Have you raised that issue?
But I don't want such petty issues.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm about the country,
Yes.
not about my house.
Yeah. No, I understand. No, and thank you so much, President
Thank you, Bob.
Zuma, for your time. We really appreciate it. I tried to push you for your targets in the next elections. I gave up. I thought,
Give up, Bob. Give up.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's already very late in the evening. Interview was very, very long, but I wanted to show the interview to everybody who is out there in the world for them to know about the supreme leader of black people who is in South Africa, who is fighting for the liberation of black people in South Africa under the British Empire. South Africa is still under the British Empire, is still controlled by the Queen. Queen Elizabeth, may her soul rest in peace. Queen Elizabeth II is the one who's got control in South Africa. The empire, the American empire, are the ones who are controlling the South African colony. So President Zuma fighting for liberation of black people in South Africa and in Africa. I have given him the title of the supreme leader of black people because he deserves it. Thank you very much for joining. Click the like button and subscribe if you are seeing us for the first time. And please come back next time when we go live. Don't forget, we've got t-shirts that are available. You can send us a WhatsApp message to place your order. The Royal Opinion t-shirts. It has been very hot today. If you see me naked, half naked at the top in Limpopo, South Africa is very, very hot, like really hot. So because I know Africa is hot, then I don't insist on wearing things even when I feel hot. I took some other, I relax when I want to relax. Okay. So thank you very much. Click the like button and subscribe.